Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the full moon in Sagittarius that we will be having on June 14th, 2022. I hope you're all doing really well and welcome back. If you're new and this video resonates for you, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and thumbs up the video so that it gets out there. I'm really excited to speak to you about this particular full moon, as I feel that we have basically come to a completely wholesome change point, and a major dose of enlightenment is coming in for pretty much the entire collective right now. Definitely check out some of my other videos if you're more curious about this time. I've got June 2022 comprehensive astrology, as well as general forecasts for each sign. It's a complex time, and coming off of the previous lunar cycle where we had the solar eclipse in Taurus and the blood lunar eclipse in Scorpio, April 30th and May 15th, and then June 1st having this new moon in Gemini, you can kind of see that we are going through a major shift in weight, a major shift in disposition, and a general change in dynamic across the board. So I was mentioning in some of the readings for June that it's kind of like just being in a totally different world. I think that collectively we've kind of come into a completely new space, and it's going to require some new adjustments for a lot of people. So when we hit the new moon in Gemini on June 1st, automatically a lot of the previous weight, a lot of the previous pain, toxicity, and trauma connecting points had been dissolved and were eclipsed out over May. And I feel that this opened up an opportune period of time for most people to really face themselves and to probably see the existential nature of their experience. So I saw a lot of people in May really kind of struggling to come to grasp or come to grips with what experiences life had showed them. So not understanding why things which had previously been very positive experiences have now turned into heavier negative ones, and then also being confused about how previous disadvantages or previous hardships now become vastly empowering. So it's very much an archetypal example of the Wheel of Fortune archetype. Like in the tarot, it's so much a Wheel of Fortune period of time where, you know, we don't have the same layout. Okay, we're not in the same parameters. We're not in the same natural state that we were either. So that which used to feel like a natural, healthy state of being may no longer be feeling that way. And I think that there's a big quest for a new conceptual understanding of what is our own natural way of existence, our own natural way of living, and how can we lighten and take off some of the heaviness, like have a less heavy experience moving forward. So the full moon in Sagittarius every year, whenever you put the moon, which is the emotional center for our energetic spectrum, when you put that into the sign of Sagittarius, it increases our emotional needs. So oftentimes during a full moon in Sagittarius, we have a new emotional need, we have an expansion in emotional needs, and we see where our emotional needs are not being met. And oftentimes we can very easily develop or understand the solution or remedy or cure to a lack of emotional needs being met. So I think that this period of time on June 14th is going to be best for this. So finding the cure, finding the remedy to a long-running problem, and opening up to the fact that things can change, and it's okay for things which once worked to not work anymore, or it's okay for things to change. I think that that's a very primary state of being that most of us need to come to right now. We have this really, really rare and perplexing Jupiter-Mars Chiron conjunction in Aries, and that is really coloring this time. So, you know, it's played out with a lot of collective trauma. You know, we've been seeing this globally, and we've been seeing in a lot of places a lot of really difficult things to cope with. And that takes a toll, and that takes, or certainly demands, some amount of shift for everybody. So I feel that this full moon in Sagittarius is also kind of like coming to grips with the current world state, or it's coming to grips with the implications that greater world dynamics have on individuals. So we struggle maybe to detach very easily from that. And there's definitely a bigger push towards, understanding world events and understanding global issues more, but also being able to detach and being able to step into that place that shows us creating a new leaf for ourselves. So I mentioned in the Pluto return video for the US, I was talking about how there were a lot of people who were maybe like not being able to detach from any type of world issues, or getting like really obsessed with things like politics or economics or things like that. I would say that would be very highlighted right now and challenged. All right. So definitely check out that video for more information on that. But why I'm bringing that up here is because, yes, we have a certain collective duty to understand what's going on. And there are some really hard traumas. And I think we all need to make space for that. Absolutely. But there is something about individual evolution coming up during this time too. And it's very easy to be distracted, or it's very easy to really pass this time by. And it is a very important window of time for personal development. So what I'm getting at here is a need to check in with you. Okay. So we might be checking in with our family. We might be checking in with our social media pages. We might be checking in with our businesses. We might be checking in with news. Okay. We need to check in with ourselves here. And we need to check in with our own mantras, our own philosophies, our own concepts as well. So the concept behind our motivations, the justifications we have for being in certain places, our own personal greater contact or connection to where we currently are as well, locationally and also emotionally. Those things really need to be assessed here. I feel like this is a very important time for assessment. Okay, Jupiter, Mars, Chiron, and Aries, it's like generating some type of like report, or generating some type of even like a bureaucratic data result with Jupiter and Chiron coming together, and Mars too. And it's a very poignant, okay, it's a very giving time if you've been needing to figure out something about yourself, or you've been needing to understand where you stand. All right, so I think a lot of people coming out of the previous few months with the Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces perhaps really struggled to understand where they stood, okay? Really couldn't really understand where they were. So confusion, being out of context with oneself, even illusions or illusions of grandeur were really possible over the last few months. And now this full moon in Sagittarius is like a burning off a lot of that unneeded, excessive thoughts, or thinking things that like really don't give us any type of progress. So being obsessed with a certain goal, being obsessed with a certain future tripping or past tripping that disconnects you from the present moment is going to really, I think, be removed right now. And it's going to make way for a new you, or for certain square one experiences where we don't overthink so much and we want to move more into action. So we're kind of just clearing away a lot of energetic debris with this full moon. And I mean, already the new moon in Gemini, okay, it showed people like, okay, these old heavy thought patterns, these old heavy routines even, and more physical things are just not going to work anymore. You need a lighter, more wieldy experience. Okay, so I was talking in some of the tea chats on Patreon about wieldy experiences and about crafting more durable yet wieldy things in your life. And this full moon in Sagittarius is going to really help you take that concept to the next level, or help you to more powerfully develop a more apt or applicable path for yourself. So that's really one of the most important things now. And I think that there are different people in many different varying points within this progression. So it depends on if you want to like involve in certain ways. So are you like climbing Mount Everest right now? Are you like descending it? Are you wanting more of a like plateau area? Basically what I see with this full moon, and I was mentioning this in one of the tea chats on Patreon, I think it's really great to mention here as well. I've been seeing a lot of people want to like climb Mount Everest, hyperbolically, like wanting to do really big things, wanting to climb in hierarchies or careers or whatever, or really just up their own projection. And it's important to know with these types of transits that we're going through, especially this Aries triple conjunction along with the full moon in Sag, even the way that Saturn and Pluto are connecting to all of this alongside a greater Taurus stellium with North Node, Uranus, and Venus. What we forget sometimes about climbing Mount Everest is how painful and difficult it is. Okay, some people live for that. Some people love the difficulty of climbing. But it's easy from the bottom to romanticize the summit without taking into account the breathlessness and the pain, and even the people who can't make it to the top, okay, or the people who have to turn back, or how that feels, or having to also deal with people who start to like really go through a certain nervous breakdown as well as they ascend to that level. So if you're really wanting to ascend, or if you're really wanting to climb, it takes a superb amount of health and capability. You know, we can't plan to climb Mount Everest if we have been engaging in 7 years of addiction and poor health, or we've been depriving ourselves of the proper food and nutrients, the proper sleeping. Okay, Mount Everest is not really viable for us when we've been in that state. So what I'm trying to point out here, and what this general period of time is really demonstrating for us, is like, if you want to do the big thing, you have to be healthy and capable. Okay, and you have to know that it's going to hurt a little bit, and you have to know that it's going to be a challenge. And again, there are people, it's like very much a part of the human condition, who enjoy these types of challenges and who really get a thrill from it. But even it's not easy for them either. Okay. And are there other things that you can do? So there are certain areas, like, I don't know, a quarter of the way up Mount Everest, that are like really nice and beautiful. And there are certain base camps, or certain summits that are not there as well, that are really, really nice. And some of these like middle ground experiences are going to be really beautiful to engage in as well. Also being at like sea level, right? That is also really beautiful right now. So basically, it's really important to understand that wherever you are in any type of climbing modality, whether you're at sea level, whether you're at the summit of Mount Everest, whether you're anywhere in between, it all kind of makes sense, and it can all really be made to work. So we really need to shed the illusion that we have to meet any one particular strata of goals, or schemata of plans, strategies, or concepts. And we need to start adapting, I think, to this period of time in a more feasible and viable way, because I know that viability is probably one of the most important things as we move later into this year and we get into 2023. Is what you're engaging in viable? Okay, is it a fad? Is it a long-term prospect? This full moon in Sagittarius, alchemizing with all of the other placements right now, will really help you to assess viability and to know whether certain things are or are not viable, and also to be able to create systems around them that will be viable. I also just think it's a huge illumination. That particular point, that 23 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius axis that this full moon is happening at, it deals with the unknown. It deals with entrepreneurship. It deals with cultivating new horizons. It's very Three of Wands energy there, and it's also a major ambition and aspiration point. So I want you guys to like really maybe take some time to think, like, am I on a path that I love the idea of cultivating further? Am I like standing right in front of the big stuff here? Am I looking at the horizon that I want to see? Am I pursuing the right thing? And that should be really open during this full moon. And what will also be open is like the ability to tell, like, okay, I'm kind of at a dead end here, or okay, I'm kind of like just in something because it works. And it's going to be really hard past this point. Okay, so past June 14th of 2022, it's going to be immeasurably difficult to be contributing to things which aren't captivating, okay, or which aren't really like the zest of what we know that we are. So like the flourishing of humanity, the human condition in regards to want, desire, motivation, and being drawn to the unknown, or being drawn to the new horizons, really will start to bloom after this full moon, because we have a lot of other transits that demonstrate that too. So this Aries triple conjunction, this Saturn in Aquarius, even this Taurus stellium, this Mercury in Gemini that we have, everything except for the Pluto in 28 degrees Capricorn indicates a new frontier. It indicates a new level. It indicates a new chapter of life, a new book, or even a completely new, as new as something could be. So it's very much like the Fool archetype and the Wheel of Fortune archetype and the Three of Wands coming in now. So the previous places that we've been, the 9 and 10 of Wands, the World, the Devil archetype, the Judgment card, stuff like that, is not where it's at. Okay, so if you're still feeling overactive, 8 of Pentacles reversed energy that came up so much in last month's readings as well. If you're still in that over laborious, overproductive, trying to purge out all of this deep pent up energy through productivity, through frenetic energy outputs, that has got to cease now. Okay, and we need to understand the meaningful stuff. And it's kind of like a wake up call for you all. I mean, Jupiter's in Aries, Neptune is getting really advanced in Pisces, Uranus is moving, it's more than halfway through Taurus now. The times are moving. Okay, the times are changing. There is a big shift in a lot of global protocol and in a lot of global norms, themes, and dynamics. And because of that, we really can't keep turning ourselves off to the greater scape or the greater landscape that we can be on. So that's what this full moon in Sagittarius is about. It's a very meaningful degree. The 23 degrees, I think, is a very powerful point of both of those signs, because it's still quite a far away from their cusps, but it's very advanced. So it's the very mature, very capable, very wise aspects of Gemini and Sagittarius, but not so much the ancient or even decrepit aspects of those signs yet. So as it relates to our emotions and the way that we process those through our greater life motivation and vitality, sun and moon, that is going to be really open to us. And are we open to it? Okay, so there's a great call for journaling, about what is my greater cause here? What horizons am I pursuing? What does this current path that I'm on yield me over quite a long time? And what does the alternate path that I'm considering yield? And not just yield me. So not just thinking about the me aspect of it, but also thinking about family, thinking about society, thinking about everything, really being able to combine it all together and see, where am I best placed? Where are my efforts shining? Where am I growing well? All right, where am I flourishing? Where am I not? These things should be really natural and understood now. And we should really start to see a greater idea of momentum, and then subsequently a greater trust in stepping onto that or being there. So anyway, everyone, just a kind of a brief stream of consciousness about the full moon in Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed it. It's quite a late night speech for you all and a late night conversation. I have been working on a lot of other content, and I'm taking a bit of time. You might see that my YouTube channel is not as active right this second, but I will be coming back with actually a series of live premieres, weekly live premieres, and it's going to be a really beautiful beachy summer of incredible content. I have some really exciting new things to share with you all. But before then, I will be having a little bit of time to relax and a little bit of time to unwind, to prepare myself for such a wonderful summer of incredible community experience with you all. So be sure to keep tuned to the community tab on my YouTube channel, and check over on my Patreon page. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, where I do updates as well. And yes, you can always turn on the bell notifications right by the subscribe button here on YouTube. You can turn on notifications so that when I post, or a community post, or when I post a video, you get notified, and that will help you to know if what's happening on this channel. I would appreciate that. So anyway, everyone, what a beautiful time. I hope you enjoy this full moon. I'm very much looking forward to it myself, and I hope that this audio was helpful for you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful full moon. Much love. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.